the question really is around why choose a president, and why is that among the board's most important decisions. It's really the only hire that the board gets. They hire the president, and their president is responsible to the board. And the president functions in essence as the CEO of the organization and the spokesperson not only for the board but for the campus and the community. And so hiring that right person means a great deal to that university or that college. It has a great deal to do with the fundraising that they do. It has a great deal to do with the academic programs that they offer. And that president, if they are good at what they do and trusted, can make a huge difference to a university or a college. It allows the college, in essence, to be proud of the person that is their spokesperson. And others follow that lead and that vision. And I think if that's done well, and boards take that seriously and hire the right candidate, I think it's unlimited what the successes that they can have. So a search process really comes in three bundles, if you will. Bundle one would be to think about, as a board, where you hope to be and what your expectations are for the future of the organization. Typically, a presidency would last 7 to 10 years. And so what is your 7 to 10 year goal as a board? And where do you hope to take this university? And then to think about the candidates and the attributes and the characteristics that you would want in a president to meet those expectations and those goals. Ultimately, then, you have to decide whether you have the capacity to do that yourself as a board, or if you need assistance or guidance, and therefore a search firm would be retained to assist you in that expectation and towards that outcome. We are often called after a search that was unsuccessful when schools or boards are doing it themselves, and they ask us to come in and fill in from the back end, and that's difficult at times. But the reality is we're right around 60% now nationally using search firms. If you hire the right search firm, and it's akin to hiring a president, I think you have to find that firm that has the experience and the background, and the search consultant that appears to be a good fit with you, understands who you are, and has shared values with what you value. I think if it's done well that way, I think the search firm can take a great load off the work of the board and bring some expertise that a board might not have. And so, for instance, board members typically are business people who are busy and can't give full-time commitment to a search. A search firm should be able to do that on behalf of the board. The downside is there's a cost. At times, people believe that you're turning that responsibility over to a search firm. I don't personally believe that, but I think that can happen, and the perception of that can happen. And so, as a result of cost and a perception that you're giving too much of the responsibility to a search firm, can cause some angst on a college campus. If you think about campus buy-in, having a representative committee allows various factions of the campus to believe that they are represented at the table. Okay, and so from that perspective, yes, it very much allows for campus buy-in, and it allows a vehicle for that constituent group to speak to someone on the search committee about the process. And so I think it's very healthy if you have that cross-section of the committee. I think it excites and engages a campus as well. It should be representative and inclusive. It sends a message to candidates and to the community who's on that committee. And so the committee typically is made up of, it's dominated by the board. Ultimately, it's their hire. So you would probably have one more than half of a search committee be made up of board members. The other should be representative. You should have some faculty on there. You should have a staff member. You should have a student on there. And so often boards will elect to have an alumni representative on there as well, an administrative representative on there. A good-sized committee would be somewhere between 9 and 11, maybe 12 members. And if it's made up of a good cross-section of the campus, then it gives candidates a good cross-section of views to learn a little bit more, because it's the committee that the candidates interact with. And so from that perspective, I think it's healthy to have a good cross-section of individuals on the search committee.